Hello, my friends. It's your old pal John here to give you another something interesting, another story that I've heard and maybe half remembered. But if you want to do more research on your own on these stories that I tell you, well, I'm not going to stop you. So feel free. But I like telling stories, and I've heard a couple of these interesting things in my life that I don't know why we don't know more about them. Sometimes these videos, this is my third one. The first one was only like 2 minutes long. It's a little something I had heard or I had read in the Bible, and then another one was another story, World War I story. And this one is a departure from either one of those. This one is going to be the story of Chito and Pocho. There is a sign in Costa Rica that says Chito and Pocho are best friends. And that's nice, but not knowing the story behind it, if you know the story behind it, I should say, the sign has a tremendous amount of meaning. Because Chito represents Chito Shedden, I believe is his last name. Gilberto Shedden, he goes by Chito. And Pocho is a crocodile. Crocodiles, unlike alligators, are not only not afraid to hunt and kill people, people are on the menu. One of the very few animals that will actively hunt a person. They will stalk a person, go to the same place every day, attack them after a few days of figuring out their, what of their routine and everything like that. So, crocodiles are not a domesticatable animal. Neither are alligators for that matter, but alligators don't have the aggressive nature that alligators eat fish. Crocodiles eat meat, animals, and anything else that comes by in the water or even beside the water. In Africa, for example, it's dangerous to walk even beside any body of water because of the crocodiles. They'll jump right out at you. So, as you might imagine, Chito, being a fisherman, was well aware of the danger of crocodiles and stayed away from them, smartly so, until one day he went out fishing with a friend, and he noticed as they went out, he lived on the water. This was in Costa Rica, by the way. Costa Rica also has crocodiles. America has crocodiles too, American crocodiles, but in America we have alligators mostly. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, and we have a lot of alligators, and alligators here and on south are kind of all over the place. Not really a problem unless you mess with them or the alligators are fed. Then they lose their fear of humans, but for the most part, alligators will not bother you. Crocodiles are a different story. They will come straight after you. And in Costa Rica, they have crocodiles, and they will come straight after you. So, Chito and his friend happened to notice a crocodile sunning itself up on the shores of as they were going out fishing. And it's just, something that they noticed. Crocodile didn't move. And they went out, had their day of fishing, came back, and that crocodile was in the same spot. And so Chito was like, that crocodile, I want to see what's going on with that. To the horror of his friend, I'm sure. But anyway, they went over there, and it was a smallish crocodile, young crocodile, and the crocodile was injured. It had been shot through one of its eyes, and I guess on into the brain. And Chito decided that he was going to make friends with this crocodile. As a general rule, don't ever do that because crocodiles will turn on you even if you feed them and you try and befriend them. It can be a couple years. There have been instances where people were able to keep a crocodile for a couple years, but there's never been a case, except for this one, of a crocodile being domesticated. Chito decided to make friends with this man-eating crocodile, and he did. He brought the crocodile over closer to where he lived by the water, and every day fed it, and the crocodile got stronger and stronger, and he would call to him. He would say, "Pocho, Pocho, come." Pocho means strong. It's like, be strong. Pocho, come, Pocho. And anytime he called, Pocho would come. Pocho seemed pretty docile. And after a while, Chito started bringing Pocho into his house. And not only into his house, he would sleep with it in his bed, much to the chagrin of his wife. Unfortunately, this did cost Chito his marriage. But he gained something, maybe not better, but he gained something from it as well. Notoriety and his best friend. Pocho turned out to be possible. I mean, people have speculated on this, that the gunshot, where it hit Pocho in the brain, caused Pocho to lose his animalistic, kind of violent tendencies, and feel, in a way, emotions, happiness, things like that, and became not only a friend of Chito, but a trainable animal. For 20 years, Chito and Pocho played together every day. Pocho lived in Chito's house. They would go into the water together. I mean, could you imagine being in the water with a crocodile? Now, this crocodile grew as a crocodile might. So over the course of maybe 5 years or so, Pocho grew to his full size. And if you're wondering what that full size is, it's 1,000 pounds. He was in the water with 1,000-pound man-eating death machine every day. And so finally, some of his friends said, "You got to do something. This is unbelievable. You've got to show some of these things to the people." And so a specially adapted water area became a tourist attraction. And some of the things that Chito would do would, for example, Chito would go ahead and get in the water, and Pocho would be off somewhere. Pocho would jump in the water, mouth open, headed right towards Chito. And people were like, "My God, I'm about to watch a guy get his head bit off by an insane crocodile." And just as Pocho got to Chito, he would close his mouth, and Chito would give him a kiss. One of the things, Chito would roll Pocho over and scratch his belly, and they would play and thrash about in the water. All these activities that would normally, in a crocodile, incite them to attack and eat the person that is messing with them. I mean, if you flip a crocodile over, it's going to get furious. Not Pocho. Pocho loved it. Pocho loved it. Pocho swam around Chito and all this stuff, and they performed together for years and years. Finally, Pocho died of natural causes at about age 50. They, kind of figured out. Pocho had a huge human funeral in the town, because Pocho had brought in a ton of money to the town, things like that. And so that is the story of Chito and Pocho, who are best friends. And unfortunately, Pocho's not with us anymore. But Chito has adopted, I guess you could say, another crocodile that he's named Pocho Dos, the effects of which remain to be seen. Pocho Dos is not Pocho. Pocho Dos, Chito has worked with him, and is careful around Pocho Dos, but it is not the same relationship as he had with Pocho. So we'll see. This is an ongoing story. We'll kind of see how that goes. But that is the story of the only domesticated crocodile that has ever lived.